Hi, and welcome to the July-August 2023 monthly energy forecast. So glad you're here. If you're new, I am intuitive channel, medium, and transformational guide, Marisa Liza Pell, and every month I come out with a monthly energy forecast for my subscribers. So if you are not on my email list, you will not get this in your inbox directly every month. So make sure that you get on the email list and subscribe, and you will get my monthly energy forecast. Like I said, it goes on the 15th of every month. And in that, I go over the theme for that month, the theme for the next month, and every day of that month and the energies around those days. If you're looking to make some big key decisions, if you're looking to manifest, if you're looking to really take advantage of the energy in your action plan, whether that comes to your relationships, career, relocation, travel, home, this is the forecast you want to listen to, because, hey, if you're going to go take a vacation, you're going to go look at the weather forecast, right? Same thing. We look at the energies of the earth plane, the planet, the universal energies, and everything kind of affecting you in the present moment. So without further ado, also, if you're watching this on YouTube, either live or on the replay, make sure you subscribe and get the notifications, because then you'll be able to interact with me every time we do go live. And also, I post a lot of other different content and reels and inspirational quotes and inspirational different things that I channel on my Facebook page, which is Medium Marisa Liza Pell. Make sure that you like that page. Also on the gram too, at Marisa Liza Pell. Anywhere you look, just Google it, you'll find me. And I do different content on the different platforms, just because I'd get bored if somebody's content was the same on every platform. So try to keep it interesting and keep you guys on your toes. So I do different content on different platforms, and you'll see different sides of my life and who I'm directly speaking to. We have different audiences kind of on every platform, which is interesting. So for the July forecast, we're going to look at the theme. I'm going to talk about the announcements that we have coming up just for what I'm doing. I have some exciting things going on that I'd love for you to be a part of. And then we're going to go into the dates and then into August. So really looking forward to it. So the July theme, funny enough, is sow in the seeds of love. Yes, it is a love song. And you're thinking, oh, great, Marisa, it's about love this month. It is, but don't let it fool you, because it's about the fantasies of love. And also what we're sowing in our love lives, we are reaping. So what are you giving versus what you think you need to be getting? Okay, so we're going to be talking about that in detail. I like to use analogies. It's some of my favorite stuff to do. So hopefully I'll be able to really dive deep into the theme of love this month and tell you kind of what's coming up. So before we get into that, I am going to talk about the announcements that I have coming up. So if you've been following me for 15, 20 years, whatever, you've seen that my mini messages, my monthly energy forecasts, all my stuff kind of changes over time. And some people miss the old stuff. Some people love the new stuff. Some people like a combination. So if you liked the mini messages, it's not that I'm bringing them back, because I just go with what the universe and I'm being guided to do, being channeled to do. And recently, I've been getting songs, right? I'm waking up in the morning with these song lyrics in my head, and these are songs that I don't listen to, lyrics that I don't really know. And usually between the time you wake up in the morning, right at that moment, usually you're really kind of in between both places anyway. And as much as I'd like to remain grounded in the practicalities at the moment, Spirit does call. So I've been called to post these songs and these song lyrics on certain reels on my Instagram, my Facebook, because I feel like they're not messages for me. Even though, like, I'm looking up the lyrics, I'm thinking, who can this be? And sometimes they are messages for me, but I pretty much know that none of these are messages for me. So these are signs that I'm supposed to be providing these messages to you. And so, like I said, if you're not following me on Facebook or Instagram, great opportunity to see when I'm posting these reels, because those messages, when they come through, are timely. Okay, when I do get a message from Spirit to give to anyone, it is a timely message. So make sure that you're getting those notifications, okay? So how it works. Okay, a lot of people have been asking me, well, do I need to know the song or immediately relate to the song or to a person on the other side to think that the message is for me? And the answer is no. Okay, sometimes the songs are being put out there so that you can go listen to the lyrics and say, oh my God, that is a message for me, right? So a lot of people look at the title in the reel or the artist and say, oh, that song's not for me, right? But that's not what it's about. It's about going and look at the lyrics for that day, that message, and seeing if it is for you, because the lyrics are the message. They're supposed to be connecting to you. So that's one way it could connect. The second way is if the song means something to you. Okay, the song is connected to you, a favorite song of yours, something that relates to a time in your life or a memory. The third way that it could relate is the person that passed may have loved that song, or it's connected to somebody in spirit. Okay, so those are the three ways that those song reels can be a message for you. I know a lot of you are probably loving this right now because it's like, the old Marisa's coming back, right? You guys like that. So I have a few tricks up my sleeve. I'm coming back, but I'm not sure how yet, how we're doing this. So it's a little exciting. I'm getting a little bit of that energy coming in. And so that is, because you all know that I'm primarily, clairvoyant about visuals and imagery and talking about that in my preferred receiving style. But this is my clairaudience coming through. So if you're wondering, what is clairaudience and what are these different gifts you could have with your intuition? Well, first of all, I wrote a quiz. And if in the description of this video, you can take the quiz if you haven't already. If you already have taken the quiz, you might want to take it again because if you've been working on yourself, transitioning, transforming, the gifts could also have subsets, just like your astrological chart could, you might be a Capricorn, but you might be a Leo in your rising sign and maybe a Sagittarius in your moon sign, right? So different aspects of your abilities and being. But so for me, as my abilities have progressed over the years, different abilities kind of come through at different times. And so this is an example when you are hearing song lyrics, this is an example of a clairaudient ability, audio, right? Listening to songs, clairaudient. Now, if I saw the lyrics written out in my mind, you would think, well, that's clairaudient. No, that's clairvoyant because you're actually seeing the actual letters written. Okay, you're visualizing. So if you don't know what you are, make sure to take the quiz. That'll be linked in the description of this video. And let me know what you got in the comments. All right. So now, here is the most exciting part. Okay, so if you are watching this video, you are getting it today on the 15th. You are an active subscriber either on my email list or you are a subscriber on YouTube or on Facebook. But if you're on my email list, you're probably getting it before everybody else. So like I've been talking about in the past few months, I actually launched a 12-month group mentorship program called the Ascend and Align Accelerator back in February. We opened it up to only 20 founding members. And since then, this is my most hands-on, high-touch way that I work with people right now. So I'm not doing one-on-one sessions. This is the only way to have one-on-one work with me and to work with me on an ongoing basis where I dive deep into your life. Only though, if you're ready to work, if you're ready to work it, right? This is not for if you're looking for something to just get relief from, in the immediate present moment from your anxiety or need an answer in the psychic world to have control over your future. This is not what is going on there. Okay. This is a 12-month intense high touch. This is where I'm putting all my support because I want to see you transition and up level to the life that you deserve to live. Okay. So if you're saying to yourself right now, I'm running on a hamster wheel, life is passing by, I'm not really present with my kids, I'm not really present with my relationships. Actually, my relationships are kind of a mess. Usually the primary ones, like in your family and your close relationships, and not usually friends sometimes, but it could be you have that one friend that's very draining or toxic, coworkers or whatever, but you'd like a simpler relationship life. You'd like to call in those relationships that are reciprocal for you. You like to release anxiety, being stuck, sabotaging, repeating the same cycles over and over again. And you'd like to stop saying to yourself, is this all there is? Is this it? Is this the way that life is? Am I resigned to living this way where I'm scattered and overwhelmed and not thinking clearly all day long? And then I wake up and it's a year later and I realize I didn't do all the things I set my mind to do January 1st of last year. My New Year's resolutions, they went out the window 30 days ago. Not 30 days ago, like 30 days after you made them. And you're repeating the same cycles and patterns, and you're living on a hamster wheel, giving to everybody else, draining yourself, and saying, you know, maybe if I read another book, it'll all be fine. And I'm here to tell you, I've done it all. It took me 15 years to get to this point where I developed this program because I want to make it easier for you to not have to go through another decade of your life or 20 more years of your life like this. So this is all about accelerating your intuition, learning how to use it, learning how to interpret it, actually learning how to use it to yourself, for yourself, so that you have the confidence to make those decisions in your life, not just for the big decisions, but for your day-to-day decisions, because it's those small day-to-day decisions that actually bring you to your biggest purpose, okay? It's the times that you decide not to go left on the road but go right, and you don't know why. Usually people don't listen to it. They're like, logically, it makes no sense. I do. And you go to the grocery store, and that's where you meet your long life love partner, right? But you're like, a lot of people don't listen to those little cues, right? So it's not about just knowing that you are intuitive, because if you're watching this, you definitely are intuitive. It's about being confident enough to dispel your logic and listen to it. Number one, understand what it's saying, know what your abilities are, interpret them, and also take action on it. Taking action on your intuition is the hardest part, because that's part of stepping into your purpose, your true alignment, and your true calling. So if you're sitting here thinking, oh, well, I'm pretty successful, I make a lot of money, but I'm busting my butt every day, taking care of the family, finances, kids, whatever you have in your life. And you're thinking, but this isn't doing it for me. But I don't want to give this all up and give up my financial stability to follow my dreams, because I'm 40, 50, 60 years old and it's just too late for that. No, it's not. Okay. No, it isn't. And I can tell you that my 6-step transformational breakthrough process, if you're looking to actually define your purpose, number one, because you can't define it if you're living in that overwhelmed, scattered mindset. It's just not going to go, because that is called the fight or flight nervous system response. So basically, you're going through life, going, producing, doing, and living your purpose based on that nervous system state of fight or flight. So everything you chose up to this point, if you relate to that mindset, is based on survival and barreling through and protecting yourself, right? So we want to get to your core self. We want to get back to you. We want to get to that feeling of being home, coming home. And we think that that's a person. We think that that's a geographical place. How many times did I move in 10 years? Probably like 15, looking for a home. How many times did I get in relationships looking for that person to make me feel like home? If people only knew that home was inside and accessible. A lot of famous people get to this place and they say, oh man, I thought it was in the money. I thought it was in the fame. I thought I would find a home, when I got that recognition. And they're like, when they hit that point and they realize that's not what it is, that becomes a very, very vulnerable place to be, and very scary place to be. So I don't want you to be there, and I don't want you also living life in a very drab, boring, feeling like, is this all there is way? There's a way out of this, and we have a process for that, an actual step-by-step process to save you time, save you lots of money looking for an answer the other way, and essentially you will have accountability, community, and you'll have me there for a whole year following your progress and keeping you on track. So that's the good news. Not so good news. Well, it's good news for some people, maybe not for 5 million others or whoever. It's not a big thing, right? I'm keeping this very, very small. I'm only opening the doors from Monday, July 17th to August 9th. And I'm only taking 7 more mentorees. Okay, so easiest thing to do, because we have different plans. We have different ways of getting involved and being part of the process, is to book a call with me. My link to my calendar is below, and I'm setting up calls throughout the next few weeks for people that are interested in seeing if it's for them. Okay. This is not a sales call. This is not something where I'm going to try to pitch you and you're going to feel guilty if you say no. Okay. If you do, I don't know what, that's something you need to come and work on in the program, actually. This is to see, number one, where you're at, what your pain points are, what your goals are. See if I can help you, number one. And number two, see if you're a fit for the rest of the group that we have, and see if you're ready. You're actually ready to do the work and come along on this process. Because if I feel that it's not time, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to take you in and then, when it's just going to be disruptive to your life. Okay. So if you have a big crisis going on in your life right now, you have stuff that, you need to take care of first, or there's other things going on, we'll talk about that. Even if we have a call, in the next few weeks and it's not time, you can come along, when we open the doors again. I'm not sure when that's going to be. It could be another 6 months. And our bonuses and incentives for this, I'm adding a lot of bonus and incentive package if you come along board this time around that are going to be expiring August 9th. And that includes one-to-one work with me, which I currently do not offer to the public. And it includes access and all access pass to all my courses and a very, very generous credit toward our next live retreat. So you'll be getting those in the package if you decide that this is for you and we decide it's a good fit. So if you want to see and you want to just say hi to me and you want to tell me where you're at and how things are going with you and see if it's a fit for you, in the link in the description of this video, you can book a call with me. All right. So I'm very excited about that. And the reason I'm excited about it is because I spent 20 some years, 25 at least, doing readings or sessions for people. And while they got relief for a half an hour or an hour and got excited about all the cool stuff that I said that came true, it didn't change their patterns. It didn't rewire their nervous systems, and it didn't up level their life to where they were living in a different reality, different existence, to where they woke up excited, refreshed, ready to go every morning, knowing that they were going to make an impact in the world and they're living their purpose. And they're completely centered and in touch with their intuition daily. Doesn't do that. But we have that in this program. So I hope to see you there. And any questions you can put in the comments as well. All right. So the other exciting news about this is that 2 of the spots are on hold. So if they go through, we'll only have 5. And subscribers, you get advanced pre-enrollment. So from today until Monday, and today's Saturday, you guys have a couple day lead to book your calls and take those spots before I actually put this out to the public. So just click the link in the bottom of this video. And like I said, the only way to figure out this program for you is to talk to me and we can delve. I have to have a deep dive with you to figure out where you're at and where you want to go. So, okay. If this sounds like you, okay, your relationships are a bit of a mess, your family life, your love life, right? If you're running on autopilot, asking yourself, is this all there is? If you're in a transition and you're like, hey, I really want to just step into my purpose and know what my purpose is and live that purpose. And I want freedom. I want to be able to design my life where I have freedom and it's slowed down and I'm present and I'm connected and I'm actually spending quality time, not time distracted on my phone and all over the place, with the people that matter. My family, my kids, my loved ones, right? So important. If you can't do that, that means your nervous system is dysregulated, and we need to get you back in balance and get you reconnected to your intuition and your purpose. It all goes together. So if you want to finally have a step-by-step system to eliminate anxiety, self-sabotage, scattered thinking, and feel like life is not another big stressful day on a Groundhog Day moment where everything remains the same, it's time for a change. So, link below. Okay, now, July, sowing the seeds of love. What are we talking about with this, right? So all the hopeless romantics out there is like, yeah, this is great. It's a love month. Well, it is in a sense, but this is actually a ton of work that you're going to be doing in the love life. So questions to ask yourself here. Number one, what seeds are you sowing? Okay. Are you sowing the seeds of a new life, new relationship, new pattern? Or are your patterns continuing and you're still sowing those seeds? You have to look. Sometimes I have a lot of clients and they're in a toxic situation. They get out of that one. They jump right into the next one. There's no time, right? And they're like, well, but this person, my ex boyfriend or my ex husband was like not funny or whatever, or not, didn't want to do anything I wanted to do. But this new guy, he's really funny and he loves all the things I want to do. But yet, both men were alcoholics. Okay, both men disappeared for days at a time. Both men didn't call you back. Both men were emotionally unavailable. It looks very different. Situations very much the same. Why are you attracting this in your life? It's because of the patterns. It's because of the energetic imprint, and it's not your fault that you're doing this. So a lot of your friends and family that are kind of sick of you going through this, you kind of feel like, oh, it's my fault, and you feel ashamed, but it's not. It comes from a very specific energetic pattern that comes from early childhood or even before that, even in your ancestral line, or karmic patterns, right? So the good news is that we can disrupt this pattern, okay? It's not easy, but we can. So I want you to think about the analogy of sewing a quilt together, right? So if you're sewing, you're building a picture of what your life will look like. So think of it as a quilt, and think of it as all the patterns being different people, different situations, little destiny points on life. But it's a quilt, and they're all different, but they're still all sewn together. And at the end, the picture is going to be what the quilt is going to be, right? Even though you're sewing different patches into it, doesn't matter, still the same quilt, right? So most of the time, once you go from situation to situation, or relationship to relationship, or career to the next career, you're pretty much picking up the same knitting needles and getting back to the same quilt, even though you're putting on a different patch, or you're picking out a different pattern, or you're picking out a different fabric. It's the same quilt. You're thinking, oh, this is what I'm sewing now, so this is going to be different. But at the end of the day, when you hold up that quilt, that's a whole picture, and it's got all the other patterns that are connected to it, and they're sewn together, right? So are you picking up the quilt where you left off and only sewing on a different patch? So sewing on the same blanket or quilt and expecting a whole different result is not going to get you a pattern interruption. It's not going to get you a change in your patterns, whether it is your love life. And we are talking about love here because that's July. So, it doesn't have to be a romantic partnership. It could be with your children. It could be with your family. Think about your quilt. What are you doing? What are you sewing, right? So I'm sorry to say this, okay, because I like to keep it inspirational and positive, but I just feel in the energy that a lot of you will continue to sow the same seeds and continue making that quilt. But you think it's different, okay? So if you're watching this, I hope that you're inspired and a light bulb goes off where you're like, oh man, yeah, I was making a plaid one last time, but now I'm making a tartan plaid where before it was a red plaid. But yeah, it's the same quilt, right? So if you think of patchwork, okay, there may be different squares, different patterns, fabrics, but they are all seamed together and part of the same trajectory. So part of the same path, if you look at a road of where you're going, okay? And what we want to do is we want to actually knit a whole different quilt, okay? So we kid ourselves in thinking that we're making a change when in reality we're not making a change. We're actually going in a circle. So I hope that this connection that's coming through, and like I said, I found all this out today. This just comes through. I write it out, and I'm sitting here reading it to you as it came through to me today. So you have to ask yourself and be really, really honest. What seeds are you sowing? Now, we talked about my program. This does solve this problem. Okay. This will solve this issue. However, you have to be ready, right? And you don't have to work with me if you realize that this is something you're projecting and this is the road you're going down and you want to change it. You can work with, any mentor, therapist, coach, spiritual guide. You want to pick one that's right for you, and that's can actually work with you where you're at. But doing it on your own right now with sowing the seeds of love theme is very dangerous. And I use the word dangerous, and I'm not actually being dramatic about it, because you could find yourself jumping into a pool only to be there for a long, long time and getting out and be like, oh my God, looking back and saying, I did this again. So pattern interrupt, very important. But sowing the seeds, what seeds are you sowing? And part of taking that first step is becoming aware that, yes, this situation looks very different from the last one, but it is essentially the same. Now, in the program that I have and in the process that I have, relationships don't come first. A lot of people come in thinking we're going to fix the relationships. We can't fix them if we don't know who you are, right? We can't fix them if you're not aligned with your purpose or your calling or where you're supposed to live, right? So we have a very specific process. And after you align a few other key points and get back to yourself, come back home, these things all work themselves out. Like, we don't even have to do anything. You don't have to ask yourself, should I stay? Should I go? Right? That's a big thing that people ask when they first work with us. And that'll all be figured out. But if your nervous system is not balanced and you have no space really or capacity for a relationship because you're living in survival mode or fight or flight all the time, then there's no way you could figure out the answer to that question. A lot of people come and ask that question of me, and I say, I can't tell you whether to stay or go, right? That's your decision. However, let's look at the pathway. Let's sit here. Let's look at what's going on, what happened before, and let's look at what life looks like on path A and what life looks like on path B. And I can tell you from 25 years of experience that a lot of people with relationship issues would come and they would say, Marisa, you're absolutely right. This is not a good situation. And I say, great. Glad you figured that out. You don't want to keep knitting the quilt. No, I don't. This is not a good situation. I know you're right. Yes, Marisa. No, you're right. Okay, well, over here, path A over here, this is who you're going to meet like real soon if you just shut the door over here. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's all I ever wanted. I wanted the people on the other side just to tell me. I can't wait to meet this person. And they're yesing me and yesing me and yesing me. And I said, but wait a second, Susie. I don't think you're going to do it. And they just laughed and said, you know what? I don't think I am either. I said, oh my God, but we got to get you on the path A. And they're like, I'll try my best. I'll let you know. And I'm like rooting for you. And then 6 months later, Susie comes back. You're right, Marissa. I should have listened. I don't want that to happen. That's why I'm not taking people anymore doing that stuff, because it's not helping you. Okay. It's not helping you. Susie comes back. I feel sorry for Susie. I'm like, Susie, all right, what are we going to do now? And then I try to get tough. I'm like, all right, screw this. Let's get tough. What are you doing? Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's just deal with this. You're right. I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm rooting for you, Susie. This time's going to be different. Susie calls me the next day. I did it. I broke it off with that guy or that woman. I broke it off. I did it. I'm so happy. I'm free. Right? Good for Susie, but really dangerous place for Susie, because she might think that's all she has to do. And now Mr. Right or Miss Right's coming along, and she's just in a great place to receive it. Right? A week later, Susie's like, I need an immediate appointment. I met Johnny Marble Man. Comes in, met him. Oh, this is it. He's different. It's different this time. He is everything I'm looking for. I'm like, oh, Johnny Marlboro Man, he's sexy, he's sassy, he's got sensuality, and he's got the smell to go along with it. And you're wondering, Marissa, what's that smell? You know what it is. It's that musky Marlboro Man coming down a mountain on a horse, sweating and having a cigarette or whatever he has in his mouth. And it's just trailing in the wind with the clouds of Colorado behind him. And he's coming down with his leather vest and he's stopping. And he's saying, "Get on my horse, baby. Come on." And you're standing there at the bottom of the Colorado mountain, and the tumbleweeds, the dry tumbleweeds, are just passing you by, and you're alone, and you have nothing going on, and you're lonely. You think you're not gonna get on the horse with Johnny T. Marlboro Man? I don't know what T stands for in the middle, but I could tell you, it's not good. Probably like TNT is what's going on. Because then, a couple weeks later, you're calling me after Marlboro Man just took you on a spin around Colorado Mountain through the Red Rocks. And you're like, I don't know where Marlboro Man just went. He just disappeared into the ether. Just gone. And then Susie's like, I don't know, Marissa. I don't know. Maybe love's not just for me. And then she doesn't get in a relationship for like 6 months. Then she calls me back. She's like, I think I'm going to start dating again. What do I do? You know, it's just the cycle, people. It's just the cycle. Then she starts getting herself in shape. Maybe getting a personal trainer. But none of the inner work is being done on the pattern. Okay? And so Susie is a kind woman. She's smart. She's successful. No reason she shouldn't have what she deserves in love. But we have to interrupt the cycle. We have to interrupt the frequency. If you think of it as a radio wave, okay, a wave of energy, that's all it is. And it keeps skipping on a record. It's not going to stop on its own because you know better. Or you realize that that was bad to do. It's not. We have to balance out your nervous system. Very, very, very important. So secondly, if you are in a relationship, a partnership, or marriage, you probably are playing out patterns within those relationships as well. Maybe you want more connection. Maybe you want more fulfillment. Maybe you're looking for that person to change. Maybe you're looking at the should I stay, should I go situation, right? Or you could be in a partnership where you finally started to make that transition, that transformation, and you're hoping that person will come along too. Or you've both decided to make some changes in the relationship and you're both willing to grow, willing to change, which I think is beautiful. Doesn't matter how much pain people come in with or trauma or issues, as long as they're both willing to kind of work through it together. However, if you are in that type of transformative situation right now, or relationship or partnership, and two people are growing at the same time, if this describes you, normally one of the team in the partnership started first. Okay, so they're a little bit ahead in the race, and they're kind of hoping the other person catches up, and that could be a little bit frustrating, and a little bit it could create some tension and could cause some changes. Also, if you are coming back home to yourself, the person that you're meeting, the real you, the core self, is not the same person that you were when you met your partner. And they're not going to be or are the same person. You two are different people. Okay, those people are not there anymore. Because you met in a pattern. You met in some other time in life where you could have been in both in survival mode or shutdown mode or replaying out a pattern, right? So you guys are not the same anymore. So at this time, for the two people, if you are in a relationship where you're growing and evolving, there could be a bit of change and turbulence in this transition right now. So it could almost feel like a very rocky road. But I would urge you to keep going and see where that path leads, as long as you're working on yourselves. So like I said, you're going to have to re-meet your partners. So a lot of time, if we're talking about sowing the seeds of love in another area right now, a lot of time in love, we are focused on receiving, okay? And thinking about our relationships in terms of what are we getting out of this? What are we receiving? What are they doing for me? What are they doing for us? And that's just human nature. Nothing wrong with that. It's what we do. And that's how we assess whether we want to stay or go, or our expectations aren't being met. We have resentments, all that kind of stuff. And even if you're the most selfless person, you still think about what are you getting or not getting in this partnership. And instead of what are we giving, how are we serving, what are we doing to put more positive energy into the partnership, right? So, what are you sowing in this way? Are you sowing compassion, kindness, trust, understanding, and love? Or are you in that cycle of suppressing your feelings, feeling resentful, just shutting down because you're like, I'm not getting what I need? Okay. If you think about it, we have to start somewhere. We have to start sowing those seeds, building the new quilt, maybe putting ourselves out there, not so much to receive something in return, but just out of the goodness of our heart and see what we get back. Okay, so let's get to the actual dates of July. So get your pen and paper ready, and let's get to it. Actually, on the wrong day here. So, okay, so let's start with today, the 15th. There is that space today. There's that opening, and you get to decide where life is headed moving forward. But this space is a little uncomfortable because you're not sure what to do in this space. It's a little bit of limbo. So this opening may be uncomfortable, and sitting in that space in the discomfort is not where you want to be, but it's where you need to be able to make a decision that you want something better, something deeper, something more fulfilling. And you're not sure how it's going to be or why it's going to be, but you need to take, instead of distracting yourself from that space, you need to be able to be within that space and to create that space for yourself to see where you need to be. So that's the 15th of July. The 16th of July is a national, in my mind, declutter day, a day to make more space for yourself in the physical. And again, making space within space and within these energy shifts. Sometimes when you declutter and you clean, you feel better, you feel more comfortable, but this is going to be space of like not knowing. So even if you're creating that space within your home, you're going to be like, this even feels even more uncomfortable than yesterday, but it needs to be done. The 17th, and we keep going here, is the day of financial analysis in your life. The day where, again, what is taking up space, and perhaps you need to move your bank today and to see where money's going, how it's going in and out, and seeing how you could get a better return for your money on something. And this is the day to do it. And you may have been contemplating this for a while, but just didn't have the time. The 18th, this is a day of making space within the family. So it gives you the questions of, do you want a bigger home, more space, more room within your home, more room for an addition, maybe having another baby, expanding the family, bringing an elderly person in to live with you. How are you creating space? The 19th, a day, this is a very exciting day, a day where dreams can literally come true. A wonderful day. So I hear, when I was like writing this down, I heard the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And something that you've been dreaming about could literally arrive that day. Or maybe somebody's having a baby. I'm not sure. But this is a dream come true day. The 20th is a complete opposite day. I called it the you know nothing day. And you realize that there's a lot more to learn about something, an aspect of things that you need to get more information on or learn about. Okay. So the 21st is a great day for family outings, barbecues, gatherings, important. The 22nd, 23rd, softest energy weekend of the month. It's finally that summer energy. Up until this point, it's been, oh my God, very turbulent. These two days actually feel like summer. A great day, a great 2 days to take a little road trip, do something different. And then what's interesting is I have the 24th, 25th, 26th. And I almost saw like a panel of elders or a panel of people. And I'm hearing the panel meets and helps you decide and plan for your forward direction. So these could be the panel of your spirit guides, the guides who were sent to you to help you with that new phase of life. It could literally be a panel of people or mentors or experts or people that are looking out for you and putting together a plan for you to decide to move in a forward direction. Meeting of the minds, mentors, experts. Those really not on the same level as you or even like lower. It's people that are actually stronger than you on the path to helping you move forward. These are people in in a higher vibration. Okay. But a little bit tough. Like they're going to be like a little bit tough on you, even if they are your guides. Like, all right, we gotta make a plan with all of our experts and all of the different areas on our panel where things are going to go. So it's a good thing, really. 27th, I have the day of anger. Okay. So keep to yourself. You could say things you don't mean. But I feel a real fiery energy that day. So just be aware of that. 28th, those that provide comfort are there for you. Allow them to comfort you, and realizing it may be people that you don't think. It may be the ones that you're not thinking about that are going to comfort you, but allow it to be received. It's very important. 29th is a day of power and of speed. It's a great day of acceleration, a huge increase in advancement, progress, purpose, achievement, financial abundance even. Just strap yourself in, because this is like you're blasting off, and a lot of good things can come of this day, but just be aware that you're ready for the speed of what's kind of going on. 30 is a day of expansion in the energy field. So you could kind of feel like, oh, I feel a little bloated or expand. Don't think of your physical vessel, because you're going to think of it as expansion. I want you to think about expanding its space around you and creating that space. Don't let the energy feel like you're expanding and not allow yourself to enjoy the beautiful energy of the day. 31st is an ending. Okay. It's an ending of the old energy that you've been preparing for. It's an energy, it's a transition to the new. It's a very exciting energy, but it's also like a very strong stance that you're taking, strong footing. You're coming from a place of your core. You're coming from a place of knowing. You're coming from a place of being grounded and in your energy and your footing, and you feel very strong on this day. But I feel like you have to transition to the new, but make a strong statement on the 31st. August, the theme of August is easing into the new order. That's the theme of the month. 1 through 4. It's actually interesting coming from such an intensity of July 31st. It's the lazy river. Easing into the new order, new life in a way you didn't think it would be this simple to transition after the intensity of the endings and the new beginnings of July. But it almost feels like you're being floated across a river or a stream, like you're being very supported by spirit, and you feel like you're literally being like carried and grounded, and there's firm footing underneath you. So this is a beautiful energy. The 5th and 6th are ultimate days of rest. That's what I hear. Like you need to rest, you need to be alone, you need to recharge and rejuvenate. The 7th, 8th, and 9th, it's literally like I see a canvas in front of you, and you're literally picking up a pen, paper, or a paintbrush and redesigning your life, like actually designing a new life ahead of you. The 10th, you're realizing that as you're designing this and thinking about it, something was missing. Something, you left out something. Something wasn't included in this. On the 10th, you realize you have this sadness, like, oh, something's missing out of that picture. But the 11th, you found it, you put it back in. So it's all good. The 12th, any of these plans that you create, you're actually keeping to yourself. And I would definitely advise that on the 12th, keep those plans to yourself. The 13th, you're telling a few close friends, people you trust, literally. And then I looked into the 14th and 15th, and literally it was from the 14th through 17th. It was like a cluster of dates. And it told me like it had to go with the next month. So for some reason, they all go together, but we need to stop on the 13th about telling people of your new life plan. So I got to leave you in mystery until August. So know that the energy right now, just tuning into it today, is actually in the past week has been very fast moving in the consciousness, the universe, and in space, outer space. And it's even too fast moving for our plans here on the earth and even our technology. There's been a lot of technological glitches, all sorts of stuff, and even our calendars and what we're booking, and we can't keep up with it, and nor can our planet. So, or the world with the energy that's moving out in outer space and here. So it's best if you rise above that energy and just go by intuition for the next couple days instead of making firm plans and being too practical. The intuition will win out. So remember, go back and watch this from the beginning. I feel like some of you may have to watch it a few times because it's very, very deep and intentional and focused in what it is saying and the energies that are moving ahead. And I feel like there's an expansion for you coming up, and it's going to be really, really good. So, like I said, if you are interested in joining me on a magical and mystical journey of transformation in my 12-month group mentorship program, the Ascend and Align Accelerator, taking 7 new people in the next 3 weeks. Down below, underneath this video, is a link to book a call with me if you'd like to see if that is for you. And if you're not on my list, not subscribed to YouTube, not subscribed to Facebook, make sure there's also another link to get on my list and get these every month, as well as take your intuitive quiz. I wish you the best, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.